Hey, what's up, guys? Figured I was kind of in the mood to post something real quick, so I wanted to do a little live video, because why not? Host it on Facebook about detailing cars and trucks and motorcycles and stuff. So those of you that know me probably know that I'm kind of obsessed with keeping my vehicles super clean. And over the years, I've kind of put together what I consider to be my favorite car care kit or auto detail kit. And I want to go over what I have in my kit, and I'd love you to comment some of the things that you have in your kits and how you keep your cars and trucks and motorcycles and jet skis or boats or whatever it is, but specifically cars and trucks and bikes, because that's what I have. I don't have any motor vehicles. Now, a little bit of pretext for this, or context, I should say, is that I live in an apartment building. I wanted to do a live video so I could kind of show you. So I'm up on the 5th floor, and I have a Ford F-150 pickup. It's a King Ranch, real nice one. And before that I had a Mustang, and before that I had a BMW, and I always try to keep them like really, really nice and clean. And whether I lived in a house or now in an apartment kind of in the city, I would always keep them really clean. Now the issue is, living in an apartment, I don't have like the bucket and the water, and I can't do like the nice hand, clean it by hand and all that stuff. So I got to take it down to the car wash, the spray and wash, and sometimes I'll use the brush. And I know that like I'm in a couple of car forums or Facebook groups where, specifically one where they, a lot of guys that have nice cars, and they talk about, don't ever take your vehicle to one of those self-serve car washes, because you'll scratch the paint with those brushes. So kind of what I do is I really try to avoid using the brush as much as possible. So I'll spray it down, I'll clean off a majority of the dirt. It's a pickup truck, so it gets pretty dirty, especially when it rains, and I drive it off road a little bit here and there. But what I'll do is I'll blast off a lot of that stuff with the pressure hose, and then I'll use the brush on the dirty parts, and then I won't brush too much on the paint. If I do use the brush, what I'll do is I'll spray the brush with the high pressure soap first, to get any little bit of debris, rocks, sand, stuff like that out of the brush bristles before I use the brush on the paint. But then after I wash off the truck, since I can't wash it by hand with a sponge or nice cloth, this is kind of my detail kit. So what I have here, this is just a basket, and this basket I keep in my closet, and then I bring it in the truck, and I'll bring it out. I'll put it in the truck when I go clean the truck, and then I'll use whatever I need to use depending on how thoroughly I want to detail it. So now I'm going to just go through what I have in here. So obviously, every good car care kit must have a nice, really high quality microfiber cloth. This is a big cloth or rag or towel, whatever you want to call it. This one's great. This soaks up the water. This gets it bone dry, and very, very high quality. This is the highest quality one that I could find on Amazon. I don't even remember the brand name. I'm not really brand loyal on any of these products, so I don't want this video to be about brands. I definitely don't get any advertising money from these brands, and I'm not trying to, push any brands, but good microfiber towel to dry off, even if you use the spotless rinse at the end of your car wash. Definitely recommend doing that to get it nice and shiny. And I'm just going to go through here bit by bit everything that I have in there. So obviously, tire foam, always a good thing. What I'll usually do is I'll spray this on the tires and the wheels, just a little bit on the wheels, while I'm drying off the car or truck with the microfiber towel. And then once this is kind of set on the wheels and I'm done drying, I'll come back through with, this is the next part of my kit, is a bunch of small microfiber towels here, or rags. And you can get a big box of these, like 30 or 50 of them on Amazon for like 10 bucks. They're pretty cheap, maybe 20 bucks, I don't know. But these things last forever. And then I wipe off the wheel and I polish the wheels with these. And I am totally sold on microfiber now. I used to use like, these little polishing These are actually microfiber too, but the old school ones that for applying wax and stuff like that. And these are just a little bit harder to handle. These ones get in the crevices of the wheel. Hey Neil, what's up, dude? So these ones get in the crevices of the wheel, and yes, I said crevices. These ones get the wheels nice and shiny. I like to keep the wheels clean. And then I'll just throw this in the washing machine when I'm done, along with the other rags. So a bunch of microfiber. This is good too. And also use these for waxing the paint. Let's talk about wax for a second. I have gone through so many different types of waxes over the years. And kind of what I have found that I like best now, by the way, just talking about waxing the paint on cars and trucks, one of my biggest pet peeves is the carnauba. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but carnauba wax, which I used for probably 20 years. One of my issues is I used to get in the, old school, the cans where you pop it off and you do this and you wipe it on there, and it would leave all the white streaks, and then when that's dry, you buff it out with a nice terry cloth. This is back in the 90s, I think, before they even had microfiber. And the issue with that was that if you get any of that carnauba wax on the black trim pieces, that shit doesn't come off. I mean, it fucking stays on there for like months, and you got to buff it out, and you got to scratch it off with like toothbrushes and all kinds of crap. So I stopped using that, and now what I use is some kind of a spray wax. So this is one that was recommended in a group. It's Turtle Wax Ice Premium Car Care Spray Wax. And this is 100% clear. It's super easy to apply, and I'll probably shoot a video of how I'd like to wax my truck. But you just spray on one body panel at a time. You take a microfiber. I usually spray this down so it's a little damp first, and then I just wipe it very, very gently. After, of course, the paint has to be clean and dry. Guys, never wax a dirty car or you'll get scratches in there, right? So wipe the wax on with this guy. And I just do that one body panel at a time before the stuff has a chance to dry or evaporate. Especially in Texas, it gets hot. And I don't do this in the sun, by the way. I do it in the garage. So once the whole truck is covered, then I start back where I begin where I started, so kind of full circle, and I take a fresh terry cloth, sorry, this is a microfiber cloth, and I buff it out, and that just gets it super nice and glossy and protects the paint. I do that, and probably every couple of months, realistically, 2 to 3 months, I do that. And I don't think this, technically, I don't think this is as good quality of a wax as carnauba. I don't think it stays on as long, but it could be better. I don't know. It's definitely much more thin, so it's easier to apply and easier to buff than carnauba, which takes a lot of elbow grease. I can wax my entire Super Crew F-150 in about half an hour and buff it and make it look awesome with this. So I really like this stuff. This might be a long video, I'm just telling you, because I got a lot of stuff in my kit. In no particular order, I'm just going to go through and take stuff out of here. All right, the next one is, I kind of have it covered up because I got this on sale, but this is Resolve Carpet Stain Remover, and I love this stuff. However, I prefer the foaming high traffic can. I really like this stuff. I would not recommend the spray bottle. The foaming can, what I do is I'll vacuum. Now I've got light beige carpet in the King Ranch F-150, and that carpet is really tough to keep clean. So you got to vacuum the carpet first. You spray this on the dirty spots, and then what I'll do is I'll gently kind of rub the foaming Resolve in with a brush. It's just a cheap brush. You can get it like Target or anything like that. Walmart for like $3, and that just kind of helps to kind of get the Resolve into the carpet, and then I wait about 5 minutes and I come through with a microfiber rag and I'll kind of dab it out and rub it, and then when it's dry, if I have time, I'll vacuum it. Maybe I'll vacuum it next time, but I'll tell you what, man, those carpets look brand new, almost brand new. And I mean, right now the truck has got probably 50,000 miles on it. So keeping the carpets clean is important to me because I hate dirty vehicles. Yeah, so that's what I use for that. Let's see what else we got in here. Quick detailer, you got to have quick detailer. This is great for if it, especially in Austin, Texas, and probably other parts of the country. It gets dusty out here. There's a lot of pollen in the air. There's a lot of construction everywhere because Austin. So just spray this on, and again, use your microfiber cloth to wipe it off. And this keeps it shiny and clean between washes. So you don't have to wash it like every week now or every couple of weeks. Like I used to wash my cars every single week. But I can, if it's not raining, I can just do this every week and keep it looking really, really nice. And that gets a lot of the grease and grime, road grime off there. And the microfiber is really good for just cleaning the paint. And then wipe it off on a clean side just to make sure you don't have any leftover junk on the paint. Of course, you need some bug and tar remover. Any auto detailer will have that. And this isn't like a professional auto detail kit. I'm just talking about like your average guy just keeping your car clean. Let's talk a little, of course, Windex or some kind of window cleaner. Keep that in there, and I'll just do that with a microfiber or maybe newspaper. Newspaper is good for no streak. Even good microfiber cloths can leave a little bit of streaking on the windows, so I try to keep that to a minimum, especially the inside. Like, you ever notice where you clean the inside of your windshield, and then you get in the right light where it shines through, and there's like smudges or streaks, and you're like, oh, I just cleaned it. So newspapers, believe it or not, even though the ink gets on your finger, the ink won't get on to the glass. So a little bit of Windex or even water, but Windex will cut through the grease better. And a newspaper will get those windows like completely clean. It's pretty awesome. Okay, let's see what else. Rubbing compound. This isn't something I use often, but if we do get a scratch, microfiber, some rubbing compound, buff it out. And then I'll use polishing compound to polish out, because you do this and it'll be hazy. You do this and it'll be like super glossy. So it's a two-step process. And if you really have a deep scratch, I actually do keep this in my kit. I don't use it very often, but where'd it go? Here it is. I've actually got some very fine wet dry sandpaper, and this goes from P220 all the way up to 800. So I'll usually just do the 800 unless it's like a really deep scratch. But like, for example, about 2 months ago, I was pulling into a parking lot with my truck, and mine's a 2014, so it's not the brand new ones that have a front view camera. Mine only has a back view camera. So I was trying to get as close as I could to this gate. Not even a gate, it was like a fence made of like cable. And I got really, really close, and I thought I could just inch forward a little bit further, and I bumped the gate with my front bumper, and it actually scratched the front paint on the front bumper. So I was kind of pissed. So I buffed it out pretty easy with the 800 grit, a little bit of detail spray. I just on the bumper, 800 grit. Took about 5 minutes, got sanded down the clear coat. It didn't go all the way down to the paint, so it was no problem. And I got those scuffs out, and then I buffed that out with the rubbing compound, and then I buffed that out with the polishing compound, and it looks brand new again. Cool, thanks Neil. He linked me to another bottle of something that I can check out. I will check out those comments later. So anyway, that's how I get scratches and junk out. I just keep that in the kit so I don't have to go looking around my apartment, because I don't have a lot of space to keep stuff. So that's always in my kit, in that basket that I showed you. And let's see, what else do I got? This is fucking awesome. I love this tool. This, I actually got this when I was in California, and we lived in a house, and my wife parked her car. We got her a brand new Ford Fusion and parked under a tree because I hogged the garage with my motorcycle and my drum set. So she had to park outside in the tree. But I parked my BMW out under the tree as well. And both cars got pretty much, the paint was just destroyed by the junk coming out of that tree. So I tried the clay bar. Oh, let me back up a step. The paint wasn't destroyed, but what happens is there's little sediment that comes out of the tree. They call it, and other stuff, they're called rail dust. Do you ever notice, like, you can clean your paint and buff it out, you know, wax it, all that kind of stuff as good as you can. And there's still these tiny little, like, they almost look like specks of dirt or rust or something in the paint, especially if you have lighter colored paint. and it's like you can scratch it with your fingernail and it's like embedded in the paint. It's called rail dust, and it's just some junk from pollutants and stuff in the atmosphere, and trees make it worse. And a clay bar will get rid of some of that, but it's a lot of work. So this thing is so cool. I love this. This is a product by Eagle One, and I don't have the original insert that went in the packaging, the label, so all I have is just the box here. But basically what it is this material here is like, in lieu of using a clay bar, this is a reusable glove that you can throw in the washing machine, and it's about 20 to 30 bucks, I forgot how much, maybe 25 bucks that I paid for it. And how it works is, this is a bit tacky, this material. I don't even know what it's made of, but it's like, it's made of magic and rainbows or some shit. So what I do is I take this, and I take the detail spray, whatever brand, it doesn't matter, and you spray this well, so it's saturated with the detail spray, not water, but the actual detail spray, and spray the hood of the car or the top of the car, whatever panel it is. And then you just rub this in circles, and it will magically lift out rail dust and make that paint just buttery glass smooth again. It is so awesome. And it takes, what would take with a clay bar like half an hour, you can do in 5 minutes with this thing. So this is awesome. I think it's called like the Magic Glove or something. It's by Eagle One. And then when you're done, you just flip it around and buff it out with a little bit more spray. This is kind of microfiber. You can also do it with the microfiber cloth. But this is a lifesaver. This takes so much time out of, if you want that paint looking brand new for years and years and years, I highly recommend that. I've only used it twice, and then I've never had to use it again because now I park in a garage and the truck just doesn't get a lot of junk on it. So let's see, I got more applicators. This is the one I used to use for the tire, and I actually wrote tire on it. And then I just started using rags until they got super dirty, and then I throw them away since they're so cheap. Yeah, I don't use this very often, but Mother's makes a great product called Back to Black. And so you spray a little bit of that on your rag, on your cloth, and to touch up the plastic trim pieces. So whether it's like weather stripping, or you know, a lot of vehicles now have like matte black plastic around the trim of the bumper. I got this for the Mustang just to protect it, kind of like Armor All. When we used to use Armor All in the 90s, I don't know, maybe some of you still do. I don't really use it anymore. But I used to use Armor All for everything that was plastic. So this kind of takes the place of that and protects the black trim pieces for months, and it looks really, really good. What else? This is like some kind of a chamois, like a synthetic chamois that actually came with the first thing I showed you, which was the big microfiber towels. I got a 3-pack on Amazon. I think it was from the Chemical Brothers or Chemical Bros or Chemical Guys, sorry. Chemical Brothers, a freaking band. Anyway, it was like a 3-pack of these towels and a chamois. I don't really use chamois anymore because the microfiber in the Texas heat does such a good job. Doesn't leave any water spots if you're using spotless rinse at the car wash, so that's fine. But I do have a chamois that came with it if I ever want to use it. If you guys have like multi-spoke wheels, this is like some kind of, I don't know if it's microfiber per se, but they call it a wheel and rim wand, and it's cool. You know, you just kind of stick it in the spokes and clean it out. I personally like to do it with a rag, microfiber rag or cloth, because I can get in there with my fingers. But this works pretty well too. I hardly ever use it. Almost done, I promise. Let's talk about interior for a minute. So microfiber for everything. That gets streaks, gets the dust up better. I used to use paper towels or shop rags, if you can believe it, years ago. And now I've upgraded to microfiber everything. But I like leather. Like leather interior, I keep that shit so clean. And it drives Chelsea completely nuts because she'll do her makeup and get a little speck on there and freak out. And I'm like, it's okay. I got my leather care stuff. So in the truck, I don't have it with me, but I do keep one of those tubs of like leather wipes. And I've tried out different brands. I started with Armor All, which is kind of a crappy brand, to be honest. It's not the highest quality. And then I've used like Mother's or Meguiar's. They're both decent, but they kind of smell funny and they still have some chemicals. The best that I've found so far is a brand called Lexol, which is a very reputable brand for leather care. And I bought a Lexol kit that has, I don't have it with me, but there's 2 bottles. This bottle's the conditioner, and there's one that's an orange bottle instead of brown, and it's the leather cleaner. And you just spray down the interior, and you use your microfiber cloth, and it cleans the leather super well. And then if you're using the conditioner, it conditions it. You know, it's pH balanced. This has all kinds of stuff in there. I don't know what's in it, but apparently it works really, really well, and it keeps the leather supple and nice. And then I did some research, and I found that mink oil is like the best thing you could ever do to keep your leather nice and supple. So what I'll do is, and this is just, let me open it up here for you. I've been keeping it in the truck, and it got a little hot, so it kind of half melted. But I'll just take a little rag, and I'll get some on there, and then just kind of gently buff that in, or not buff it in, but kind of apply it to like the sides of the seats or the bolster parts where you slide in and out of the seat, where it tends to wear down. And you know, I've only got about 50 or 60,000 miles on the truck, but the leather looks brand new. It looks super nice. And so I used to use stuff like that on the BMW, kept the leather nice for a long time. One thing I cannot stand is like cars that have cracked leather, faded leather. I like to keep that leather nice. So I'll do that every week or so. But I'll keep the wipes in there. Right now I'm using Meguiar's leather wipes just to kind of wipe it off every few days to keep it clean, and a little bit enriched with whatever pH balanced oils and stuff they put in there so it doesn't get cracked. And the last thing I have in my kit, guys, is an old toothbrush. And that's just for like interior stuff, getting in, you know, like the seams of the leather where, you know, the seats where stuff gets in there, you just can't get out with a cloth. You kind of brush it out with a toothbrush and then wipe it off with the cloth, you know, things like that. That's pretty much my everyday carry kit, if you will, for car care. I've just kind of accumulated this stuff. I don't use all of it every time. The stuff that I use the most is the leather care, definitely the carpet cleaner, although not this one, the Resolve. I use this stuff like probably every couple of weeks. Thanks, Neil. He says on point. And I'm not saying, again, I'm not brand loyal. Although Resolve, I'll tell you, I used to use Tough Stuff for years, and the yellow can that has a little brush on top, and you spray it and scrape the carpet. This stuff is awesome. If I were brand loyal, I'd say this is the best carpet cleaner stuff I've ever used. The reason is that, see how it says cleans, refreshes, or freshens and softens? It actually does soften. Like, I've cleaned the carpet with this, and the carpet, it's like, it's soft, and like, you know, like when you condition your hair. Not that I ever use hair conditioner. All right. So I use those often. I use the quick detailer often, and the wax and the microfiber. I've talked a lot about that. I use those all the time. Anyway, hope you found this helpful. Really do, you know, comment what you like to use in your car care kit. If you're rich and you can afford to go get your car professionally detailed, and you want to be an asshole and just say that, oh, I spend $250 to get my car detailed, go ahead and comment on that. Good for you. I don't like to spend a lot of money, so this stuff cost me, you know, like this is probably like 10 bucks. The wax is probably $8.99, and the rags are super cheap. And you know, I'm not trying to brag, but my truck is one of the best looking ones out there. People compliment me all the time on how clean my stuff is, and it doesn't take a lot of time. I don't have to spend hundreds of dollars to pay some guy to do it for me. All right, guys, thanks a lot. See you later.